I still don't know if what happened to me out there was real, or if my mind finally snapped after too many nights alone on that empty stretch of Highway 1. But I swear on everything I have left, every word you're about to hear is exactly how it went down. My name is Ethan. 2 years ago I was living the dream, or at least the version most people post on Instagram. 29 years old, decent job in tech, cute apartment in Santa Cruz, weekend warrior photographer chasing golden hour shots along the Big Sur coast. I love that drive more than anything. The way the road hugs those impossible cliffs, the ocean crashing 2,000 feet straight down like it's trying to swallow the world. There's something about Big Sur that makes you feel watched, even on the brightest days. People who know the area whisper about them, the Dark Watchers. Old Spanish rancheros called them Los Vigilantes Oscuros. Chumash and Esselen tribes had names too, names they only spoke in the dark. Tall figures, 8 to 10 feet high, dressed in black cloaks and wide-brimmed hats, standing perfectly still on the ridges, staring down at anyone who dares travel the coast after the sun drops. They never move. They never speak. They just watch. And if you look at them too long, they look back harder. I thought it was folklore, beautiful, creepy folklore, perfect for moody black and white photos. That's why, on the evening of October 31st, 2023, I decided to camp alone up near Vicente Flat Trail, way above the fog line, chasing a shot of the full moon rising over the Santa Lucias. I told my girlfriend I'd be back by morning. I even left my location on. Classic overconfident Ethan move. I reached the trailhead just as the last smear of orange bled out of the sky. Temperature dropped fast, like someone opened a freezer door on the whole Pacific. I hiked in about 3 miles with my pack, headlamp off because the moon was stupidly bright, silver washing the chaparral so everything looked like an old film photograph. I found a flat spot on a ridge, set up my little tent, got my camera ready on the tripod. Perfect vantage point. You could see the highway far below, a thin black ribbon curling between the cliffs and the void of the ocean. That's when I felt it for the first time. Not saw, felt. Like the air suddenly got thicker, like every ounce of sound got sucked out of the world except my own heartbeat. Even the crickets went quiet. I looked around, nothing but silver bushes and moonlit rock. I laughed at myself, took a sip from my flask. Yeah, I had whiskey, don't judge me, and went back to adjusting my camera settings. Then I saw the first one. Up on the very top of the next ridge, maybe 400 yards away, there was a shape. Tall, way too tall, perfectly still, like a cutout silhouette someone glued against the stars. Black cloak whipping in a wind I couldn't feel down where I was. Hat so wide it looked like it could blot out half the sky. I blinked hard. Thought maybe it was a weird tree, but there are no trees that shape up there, and trees don't stand on 2 legs with their arms folded, like they've been waiting for you your whole life. I grabbed my camera, zoomed in with the 200mm lens. The second I put my eye to the viewfinder, my stomach dropped into my boots. It was staring right at me. No face, just blackness under that brim. But I knew it was looking straight down the lens, straight into me. My hands started shaking so bad the image bounced. I pulled away, looked with my naked eye again, and it was gone. Ridge empty, just rocks and starlight. I told myself it was an adrenaline trick. Lack of sleep, whiskey, whatever. I forced a laugh that came out sounding like a dying animal and crawled into my tent to warm up. Zipped the door tight, curled in my sleeping bag, tried to slow my breathing. That's when the footsteps started. Slow, heavy, like someone wearing old leather boots walking on gravel. But there's no gravel up there, only pine needles and soft dirt. The steps circled my tent. Once, twice, stopped right outside the door. I held my breath so long my lungs burned. I had my knife in one hand and my phone in the other. No signal, of course. I waited for the zipper to move. I waited for a voice. I waited for anything. Nothing happened. After what felt like an hour, the footsteps walked away. Slow, deliberate. I heard them climb the slope behind my tent, rocks clicking under weight that shouldn't be possible on that loose scree. Then silence again. I did not sleep, not even for a second. At around 3 in the morning, the moon was straight overhead, so bright it turned the inside of the tent the color of bone. That's when I heard the whispering. It wasn't English, wasn't Spanish, wasn't any language I've ever heard. It sounded like wind dragging chains across dry leaves, but formed words, low and patient, coming from every direction at once. My name was in there, Ethan, over and over, drawn out until it didn't sound like my name anymore. I lost it. I screamed into my sleeping bag like a little kid. When I finally peeked out the mesh window, there were more of them, 7, maybe 8, standing in a perfect half circle on the ridge above me, exactly like the old stories say. Cloaks barely moving even though the wind was howling now, hats tilted down, watching. One of them raised a hand, slow, like it was pointing at something behind me. I whipped around so fast I almost broke my neck. There was another one 5 feet from my tent. So close I could see the texture of the cloth, old, coarse, like burlap woven from midnight. The brim of the hat cast a shadow so dark it looked wet. And underneath, nothing. A hole that went on forever. I locked eyes with that nothing and felt something pull, like my soul got hooked on a fishing line, and whatever was on the other end started reeling, slow and steady. I don't know how I found the strength, but I lunged for the tent door, ripped it open, and ran. Barefoot. Left everything, camera, pack, phone, all of it. I sprinted down the trail in the moonlight, like death itself was one step behind me. Branches tore my face and arms to ribbons. At one point I slipped, rolled 20 feet down a slope, smashed my ribs on a rock so hard I heard them crack. Didn't stop. Couldn't stop. Because every time I looked back, they were still there, on the ridgeline, perfectly still, watching me run. I hit the highway just before dawn, clothes shredded, bleeding from everywhere, sobbing like a maniac. First car that came by was a park ranger. He took one look at me and went white, said I was the 3rd person that year to come screaming off that trail talking about the men in hats. He wanted to take me to the hospital. I told him to take me anywhere but back up there. I haven't been back to Big Sur since. I can't even look at pictures of it. Every time I close my eyes, I still see that circle of silhouettes against the stars. Sometimes, late at night, when the apartment is dead quiet, I hear footsteps on the roof, slow, patient, circling, and I know they're still watching. If you ever drive Highway 1 at night, especially between Lucia and Ragged Point when the fog rolls in thick and the moon is full, keep your eyes on the road. Do not look up at the ridges, because if you do, they'll look back, and once they see you, they never stop. If this story gave you chills the way it still does me every single night, hit that subscribe button on Mr.Nightfear. Turn on notifications, because next week I'm telling you what happened to the 2 hikers who vanished on that same trail exactly 1 year after I ran for my life. Sleep tight, my friends, if you can. Second story, I'm only telling this because someone has to warn you. If you ever see a payphone ringing on an empty road in the middle of the night, do not answer it. I did, and I'm still paying for it. My name is Riley, 27 years old, delivery driver for a late-night pharmacy in Monterey. The kind of job where you're alone on the coast highway at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, dropping off insulin and pain meds to old folks who live in houses you can't even see from the road. Most nights it's peaceful, fog rolling in like ghosts, the ocean growling down below, classic rock on low volume. I liked it. Paid the bills, kept me away from people. I thought I was safe out there in the dark. That all ended on the night of February 14th, 2024. I was coming back from a drop-off near Lucia, dead tired, heater blasting because the marine layer had turned the air into ice water. Highway 1 was completely empty, no headlights in either direction, just my high beams cutting tunnels through the fog. Around mile marker 33, right where the road does that evil S-curve above McWay Falls, I saw it, an old payphone. Standing alone on the dirt shoulder, one of those gray Pacific Bell booths from the 80s, the kind that haven't worked in 20 years. Glass smashed out, wires hanging like guts. But the little orange bulb inside was glowing, and the phone was ringing, loud, insistent. The sound carried over the wind and the waves like it was the only noise left on Earth. I slowed down, I don't know why. Something about it felt personal, like whoever was calling for me. I pulled over, killed the engine, and sat there staring at it through the windshield. My dash clock read 3:07 a.m. No bars on my cell, of course. I laughed at myself, told myself I was being an idiot, and almost drove away, but it kept ringing. 15 rings, 20, 30. I've never heard a payphone ring that many times. They're supposed to give up after 10 or 12. I got out. The second my boots hit the gravel, the temperature dropped another 10 degrees. My breath came out in white clouds. The ringing got louder, almost angry. I walked up to the booth slow, heart hammering so hard I could taste metal. The receiver was swinging on its cord like someone had just dropped it. I could see frost crawling across the broken glass, even though the coast never freezes. I picked it up. Dead silence on the line for 3 full seconds. Then a voice. Male, old, dry as dead leaves. Riley. My name, clear as day. I froze, couldn't speak, couldn't even breathe. The voice continued, calm, patient, like it had all the time in the world. You left the porch light on again. I swear my soul left my body right there. Because I live alone. My house is 37 miles north in Marina, and I never ever leave the porch light on. I hate wasting electricity. My electric bill proves it. I whispered, "Who is this?" Static, then closer, like the mouth was pressed right against the receiver. We're already inside. The line went dead. The orange bulb in the booth popped and died with it. Complete darkness. I dropped the receiver and ran back to my van, hands shaking so bad I couldn't get the key in the ignition. When I finally got it started and floored it, my headlights swept across the booth one last time. There was someone standing behind the broken glass. Tall, too tall for the booth, head almost touching the ceiling, wearing an old-fashioned trench coat and one of those flat newsboy caps pulled low, face in total shadow. One pale hand raised in a little wave, like he was saying goodbye to a friend. I screamed and peeled out, doing 90 on those curves, praying I didn't launch into the ocean. I didn't stop until I hit the lights of Monterey city limits. I called the sheriff from a gas station, told them everything. They sent a unit down to mile marker 33. You know what they found? Nothing. No payphone, no booth, no broken glass, just a rusted metal pole where one used to be 25 years ago. The deputy even showed me the old Caltrans records. That phone was removed in 1999. But here's what keeps me awake. When I finally got home at dawn, shaking, crying, ready to pack a bag and never come back, my porch light was on, and my front door was wide open. Inside, every single light in the house was on, every bulb blazing like it was noon. My TV was on static, my fridge door hanging open, and on my kitchen table, sitting perfectly in the center, was the receiver from that payphone, still dripping with salt water, cord cut clean. There were wet footprints too, bare feet, way too long, way too thin, leading from the front door straight to my bedroom and stopping right in front of my closet. I haven't opened that closet since. I moved out 3 days later, new apartment, new city, new number. I thought distance would fix it. It didn't. 2 weeks ago I was driving for Uber in Salinas, 2:46 a.m., and my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. But the ringtone, it was the exact same mechanical trill of that payphone. I answered. Same voice, same dry whisper. "You left the porch light on again, Riley?" Click. I pulled over right there on the freeway shoulder and threw up until I dry heaved. Last night I came home from work and found a new payphone installed in the hallway of my apartment building. 3rd floor, indoor, no outside lines. The little orange bulb glowing, ringing. It's still ringing right now as I record this. I can't bring myself to walk past it. So if you're ever driving Highway 1 alone at night and you see a payphone on the side of the road, keep driving, turn the radio up, floor it, pray. Because whoever's calling, they already know your name and they're already inside. If your skin is crawling and you need more stories that'll make you triple check every lock in your house tonight, smash that subscribe button on Mr.Nightfear right now. Turn on the bell, because next time I might not be here to post again. Stay safe out there, my friends. And whatever you do, don't answer the phone. 3rd story. This one still won't let me sleep. I've told exactly 0 people the full truth until right now. If you ever plan on hiking Cone Peak after dark, burn this story into your brain first. Because what's waiting up there doesn't want witnesses. My name is Mara, 31, search and rescue volunteer with Monterey County. I've pulled bodies out of ravines, found lost kids, chased mountain lions off trails. I don't scare easy, or at least I didn't. Until the night of November 9th, 2024. We got the call at 11:47 p.m. 2 college kids, 20 and 21 years old, missing on the Cone Peak Trail. Last text from the girl, Sophie, at 6:12 p.m. Sunset from the summit was insane. Staying for stars, service dying, love you. After that, radio silence. Phones dead, no ping, nothing. Their car was still at the trailhead when the ranger checked at 10. Cone Peak is the king of Big Sur. Rises straight out of the ocean to over 5,000 feet in less than 3 miles. Steep as hell, loose shale, drop-offs that'll turn your bones to powder. But the view, God, the view. On a clear night, you can see the curve of the earth and every star God ever made. Kids go up there for exactly that reason. My team rolled out at midnight. Me, Jonah, my partner of 6 years, and a rookie named Devin, who still thought this job was cool. 4-hour approach on foot from the fire road, straight up the Gamboa Trail to the summit ridge. Moon was 3/4, bright enough to hike without headlamps if you knew the trail, and I knew it like my own heartbeat. We hit the summit a little after 3 a.m. Wind screaming, temperature maybe 32 degrees, the whole Pacific glittering black below us like spilled oil. No sign of the kids, no tent, no footprints, nothing. Just the old fire lookout tower rotting at the very top, windows smashed out since the 70s. Jonah called their names into the dark. Sophie! Liam! Echo came back mocking us. That's when I saw the light. Weak, bobbing, way down the east ridge, the side that drops into the Ventana wilderness where literally no trail exists. A single headlamp moving slow, like someone injured. Then it blinked out. We took off after it. The east ridge is a nightmare. Knife-edge granite, manzanita thick as barbed wire, 1,000-foot cliffs on both sides. One wrong step and you're gone forever. But that light flickered again, farther down, almost teasing. We roped up, moved fast. Devin was breathing like he was drowning. 45 minutes later, we found the first sign. Sophie's backpack. Sitting upright in the middle of the ridge like someone placed it there. Top flap open. Inside, her phone, smashed screen, wallet, car keys, and a single Polaroid photo I will never unsee. It showed Sophie and Liam smiling at the summit at sunset. But behind them, standing 20 feet away on the exact same ridge we were on now, were 3 figures. Tall, cloaked, wide hats, perfectly still, staring straight at the camera. The timestamp on the bottom of the Polaroid, 2:58 a.m. That was 20 minutes ago. Jonah went pale. I felt the cold crawl straight into my bones, because the ridge in that photo was exactly where we were standing. We should have turned around right then. We didn't. We kept going, following the ridge south. Deeper into wilderness, no one has any business being in at night. The wind stopped. Dead calm. Even our footsteps went silent, like the mountains swallowed sound. Then we heard crying, soft, female, coming from just ahead. Sophie's voice, no question. I crested a little rise and saw her. She was sitting cross-legged on a flat boulder, facing away, headlamp on but pointed at the ground, rocking back and forth. No sign of Liam. I called her name. She didn't turn, just kept crying, low and broken. I got within 10 feet and smelled it, ozone and wet earth like lightning hit right there. I reached out to touch her shoulder. She turned. Her eyes were gone. Just black pits, shiny like obsidian marbles shoved into the sockets. Mouth open in a perfect circle. And coming out of that mouth was the deepest voice I've ever heard. Slow, layered, like 100 men speaking at once. She looked too long. Then she smiled with teeth that weren't hers, too many, too sharp, and stood up in one motion that bent her spine wrong. Jonah grabbed me, yanked me back. Devin screamed and just ran, straight off the ridge. We heard him hit rocks 3 times before the sound cut off. Sophie, whatever was wearing Sophie, took 1 step toward us, then another. The headlamp on her forehead flickered, and for a split second I saw them behind her. Dozens, maybe 50. Lining both sides of the ridge like silent sentries, cloaks whipping in a wind we still couldn't feel, hats tilted down, watching. Jonah and I ran the way we came, didn't speak, didn't look back. Branches ripped our faces. At one point I slipped and hung by my fingertips over a drop that went down forever. Jonah hauled me up by my pack strap, eyes wild, blood pouring from a cut above his eyebrow. We hit the summit again just before dawn. The fire lookout tower door was wide open. It's been chained shut for 30 years. Inside, written on the wall in ash and what smelled like blood, were the words, "They only watch until you watch back." We found Liam at the trailhead when the sun came up, sitting in the driver's seat of their car. Seatbelt on, keys in his lap, eyes wide open, staring straight ahead like he was still driving, both eyeballs missing. The official report called it a tragic accident. Exposure, disorientation, possible suicide. Case closed in 4 days. Jonah quit Sayre the same week, moved to Arizona, won't answer my calls. I still work the desk now, can't hike anymore. My knees shake too bad. But every night at 2:58 a.m. exactly, my phone lights up. No number, just a single photo message. It's always the same Polaroid, me, Jonah, and Devin on that ridge, taken from behind us. And standing 20 feet away, the figures. Every night there is one more than the night before. Last night, there were 37. I don't know how many are left to add. So, if you're young and brave and you think hiking Cone Peak at night sounds romantic, don't. Stay below the fog. Stay in the light. Because once they have your picture, they start collecting the real thing. If you're shaking right now and never want to hike alone again, smash that subscribe button on Mr.Nightfear, ring the bell. Because I don't know how many nights I have left to post these. Keep your eyes down, my friends. And whatever you do, never ever look back up at them. They're waiting for you to blink first,